Are you bought in on Dardoch yet? Are you selling the idea that FlyQuest could be the third team that's going to Worlds in North America? Well, given that we're in the middle of the regular season, figured might as well spice up this week's episode just a little bit by doing the ShyKnock Stock Exchange on the pit. Why not, right? If you are unfamiliar on what the New York Stock Exchange is, it is basically the place where any publicly traded company can be bought and sold, or at least shares of their company can be bought and sold. How is this related to the LCS? It's technically not. It's just more the theory of things. And given that I can't do fantasy, a hypothetical world where we can buy and sell hype, yeah, I think that sounds a little bit fun, don't you? So I've got a few topics. We're going to do this like every other week, maybe every 3 weeks, depending on how busy things are. But on slow weeks, I don't know. I think it's a fun way to break down the headlines and what's going on around the LCS. Starting with the man who got more press than anybody else in the last week, in Dardoch. Are you bought or sold on him yet? For me, I'm bought in entirely. Not necessarily on the Rift, nor with Dignitas. My buy on Dardoch is purely out of the fact that I think that he is actually going to make a resurgence to the akin of Dokla. Okay, I remember the CLG Dokla years, and you compare that to now, it is a drastic night and day difference. If you think that Dardoch with the right resources, a middling team rather than just a bottom of the table team, and simply time, can't rebound, no, I'm bought all in on it. And most importantly, he's got the one factor that I can't really think of any other pro in the LCS right now that has it. He's got that media spark. He's got a way of being able to talk to people. He's got a way of just communicating content. And he's just good on camera. In every situation that I've seen him, whether it's interacting with the press or Riot people themselves on podcasts, players, everything about it from a public-facing angle is there. The question in many people's minds is just going to be, okay, is he toxic? Will it be a problem long-term? To which I would say, the way he's speaking right now, I'm bought into the idea that he's grown up a bit. He's got that Northeast mentality, which is going to rub some people on the West Coast wrong. I get it, but I think he's there. I'm all bought in on the Dardoch experiment. Even if it will not, my prediction is that it would not be on Dignitas long term. I think if he shows a good split this year, he could get picked up by somebody else. Or maybe Dig just wants to build around him, and that's a brand identity. Maybe. Like, anything can happen here, but I am bought in. I'll tell you which stock I would really want you to buy into. Me. The ShyKnock YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. You can ride this wave all the way to 10K. We're growing, baby, week over week, and hope you enjoy the content. But no, seriously, let's get to the next point. Up next, Shopify Rebellion. They are 2-1. They're sitting at technically the top half of the table of the LCS. Are you buying or selling the hype for them possibly making a run in playoffs? No, I'm not there yet. In fact, I'm selling it. I don't think they will finish with a above 500 record this split. Their 2 wins are over Sentinels, of which it was very close, and DSG, who clearly looked like the last place team in the league. They did get wiped by Lyon. And honestly, we'll probably find out this weekend against Dignitas whether they are going to be a top team or not. This is not a squad that I see scaling as the year goes on. Maybe Zinni can get a little bit better, but every other piece here, I feel like we kind of know their quantity. And while the floor definitely feels higher than it was back in spring, this is definitely an upgrade over Seos, in my opinion, even if Zeyzal's not committing to this team long-term beyond the split. That floor is up there. It's just not high enough to finish top 4 in the league, in my opinion. So no, I'm selling their position right now. Even a win over Dig doesn't convince me, especially when they have Fly and C9 both upcoming. That's going to be a real telltale sign. Speaking of Lyon, Inspired is reportedly returning this weekend. I have not seen any confirmation that he will be here or won't be here. So we'll just hypothetically assume that he is. In the world where Inspired is returning, are we buying, selling, or holding on the idea that he will make them better? I'm holding on that. I don't think this roster, as of right now, can necessarily get better than what it is. Given we've seen the competition that they've been playing, it's not been to the point of Team Liquid. Team Liquid's really the only challenge for them, in my opinion, left in the split. And they've been crushing every lane that they've played to the point where jungle really hasn't made a difference. So maybe Inspire comes back and makes them look good in scrims. But we, the general public, I don't think we're going to see that tangible of a difference because they already look fantastic. It's realistically going to be on the international stage where we see whether Lyon can level up to the point where they can take that series against international teams and maybe look a little bit better against Team Liquid. But I'm not sold that they're necessarily going to improve drastically at a domestic level. We have to wait until international competition for them. So Inspired returning, hold. I think Lyon remains pretty much exactly where they are now, with maybe some scrims against TL as the season goes on. In case you missed the headline from this week, something that I think was noted by Loki in an interview was that Inero, when he was coaching Cloud9, very much trusted the players. Like, he enabled them a lot to make their own choices. Dom, on the other hand, he's a little bit more controlling of how things are run at Cloud9. And while C9 definitely looked a little bit better this past weekend, if you ignore Game 2 against DSG, or no, it was DIG. DSG? Yeah, it was DSG. Dom's apparently running a type ship that is showing itself on the Rift. So are you buying, holding, or selling Dom's coaching philosophy of taking a little more control from the players and basically saying, like, yeah, we're an objective third-party viewer as the coach. We are going to know better. You'll still get some player input. That's not saying that it completely eliminates it. But honestly, I had written down that I was going to hold this. No, I'm buying it 100% because I think the biggest flaw that C9 has had, in my opinion, over the course of playoffs the last 2 years is it feels like the players get in their own way. If Dom is strict with the philosophy that he wants to impose on this team come playoffs and they still falter, then that to me just shows like you need to get players that are going to buy into your system because they already haven't done it on their own. I like the idea that you are coming in with a philosophy in mind and want to push that. That is something different than what we've seen for the last little bit, and I'm all for it. Will it work? There is a part of me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I know I have a rivalry with C9, but part of me is like, it would be kind of cool to see them go to Worlds and rebound. But at the same time, I don't know. I'd be happy for Dom, for Tactical, and maybe Blabber as well. But I just feel like the ceiling is still very limited for this roster, even if they do buy into Dom's coaching philosophy. But I am bought in on his philosophy and how he's made them look at points. We just need to see it happen in the postseason as well. Now for a difficult one. Sajed, okay, the superstar ADC as it was supposed to be as he came in to DSG. And he's had these moments where he looks great in team fights, but let's be honest, it has been a very disappointing split for Sajed. It's been a very disappointing year for him and DSG in general. How you feeling on him, okay? Because for me, there's two answers. One of which I understand more, which is hold. Most people are going to hold and say, like, okay, he's a rookie. He's playing with a really bad support. And no offense, Lion, but brother, it hasn't been a good split. It just kind of is what it is. Personally, I'm buying it. I am bought in on the philosophy that he has shown enough signs as a rookie on a really bad team to warrant giving him a chance in an environment that he can actually succeed. Will that be on DSG? Will that be on a different team? I think you just need somebody to take a chance on him and put a good support around him, which I don't think DSG is ever going to be able to afford. So if Sajed wants to have a promising career in the LCS, so long as DSG is in this promotion relegation slot, it's not there. You got to find a new home, which luckily his contract's up at the end of this year. I'm still bought in on him. So I'm saying buy. I'm going to hold that line and I will ride it all the way until the ship either crashes or actually fully set sail on a different team. So I'm just saying I still think it's going to work out. I don't know why. You look at the Rift, that's going to be the opposite of what you're seeing there. But I'm telling you, hold steady and buy it if you can. Get that investment point that'll skyrocket later, hopefully, or I'm dead wrong. Let's go overseas for a minute, shall we? Are you bought in or are you selling the idea that Jojopyun can come back to North America or even wants to come back to North America after his contract is up with Mad Lions Koi or Mad Koi? I forget what the acronym stands for. MKoi. Are you bought in on the idea that he will return to North America after this year is done? Because Koi's collapsing. We're all watching it in real time in the LEC. Would he come back to NA? Because he's not going to go to G2. They have caps, obviously. I don't think KC's going to give up Kehu for Jojopyun. So he would have to go to a different team, or he would have to have faith that MKoi can build around him. Or he could come to North America. Okay, somebody can pick up Dylan Falco as the head coach, and then you get the former head coach of G2, and then you get Jojopyun with it. Or maybe you slot him into the FlyQuest roster over Quad, which I know people will be a little bit iffy on that, but it's Jojopyun. I think you take that chance. And Papa Smithy clearly was willing to throw everything in the kitchen sink to get him in the past time that he was available in the offseason. I think they would try again, but I'm selling that. I'm selling the entire idea. I don't think he leaves Europe at all. Come on, he's got a good thing going over there. He's wanted. He gets to play in front of massive crowds, which he clearly enjoys, which he is not going to get here, not to the same extent that they have over there. I think he'll probably re-sign with Koi and they build around him, or stay with another team over there that's willing to, do something to build it up. I just don't see a world where he wants to come back to NA. Maybe there's a lot of pride. Maybe the Esports Nations Cup at the end of this year and playing for Team Canada with Dylan Falco will be enough to convince him to follow Dylan to wherever Dylan wants to go. But I'm not sold. I mean, those road trips are just incredible, and we haven't matched it yet. We're a ways off. Maybe one day. But for now, And finally, this is a little bit off topic, but I think it's fun. Would you buy into the idea that the Call of Duty roster mania and offseason is more entertaining than the League of Legends offseason and roster mania? Because I would. Look, I'm an Optic fan right now. I know Andrew Stefano just talked about it in his latest video about Optic. There are many more of us Green Wall fans out there than you think. Dude, the Call of Duty offseason is on one right now. We got talks of Simp possibly going to Gentlemates, which is basically the K-Corp of Call of Duty. You've got arguably one of the best players in the entire league, entire world, in Hydra, that can go pretty much anywhere he wants at this point. Will he join Optic, who have made every final this past year? I mean, I would love to have him. I love Hook. I really do. But it's Hydra we're talking about. I don't think you pass on that this time around. The drama of Call of Duty's offseason and the memes that the subreddit has that come out alongside all of this, I think put League of Legends to shame in many different ways. Our offseason feels very drama-based, if that makes, like, I get it's all based around like T1 and some of the Dynasty players there. The LCS offseason hasn't really felt all that impactful. It's been more sad because we've lost players over to Europe. So I would personally buy in on the idea that Call of Duty does their offseason right. The memes are just incredible. We are lacking on that front in the league pillar. So we could step up our game pretty massively, and people could learn to take a joke a little bit more. And I would love to see that happen going into this upcoming offseason. Anyways, let me know what you thought of that segment. I had a fun time filming it in general, but I just want to know your thoughts on whether you think it's a good addition to the pit every now and then to help fill the void. Because I'm telling you right now, as we preview the matches sort of this weekend, I don't really have all that much to talk about. Team Liquid's going to 2-0 DSG, and Lyon is going to 2-0 Sentinels. Okay, we've established that. That's already gotten 2 of the matches off the board. Dig versus Shopify, I'm hoping will be close, but we need to see Dig step up and play more like they did in Game 1 and be able to close out the leads that they might be able to get. Otherwise, it is going to be Shopify running all over them. Like, Contracts has shown that he can be better than other than the top 2 junglers in the league. He's better than most other people. Like, he's the gatekeeper for the top tier junglers in the league pretty comfortably. Denethor taking on Fudge. I mean, you guys see a level up from Denethor there. And in the mid lane, I would pretty solidly take Zinni over Palafox, which is crazy, but like, I would. I'm going to be pulling for Dig. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them step up. I want this to be a close series, and I think it'd be fun to see them win, but it's going to be a 2-1 Shopify. C9 versus FlyQuest. This one, look, I know people want to get excited about this, and so do I. I would love to hype you up on this, but if we're going based on recent form, C9 has these moments where they can drop games, but I think they've been getting progressively better. And because of that, I do think this is going to be a bit lopsided because FlyQuest seems to be going through a bit of a rut, especially the bot lane is just being put down by anybody that's either on their level or slightly above. So I think that the bot lane of C9 with Tactical and Vulcan can really get a handle on them. And then it's a matter of Gakko's holding his own against Thanatos, which isn't a guarantee to happen. So I'm thinking this is actually going to be a C9 2-0, which is going to be kind of sad. And maybe FlyQuest can rebound later. Again, still a long season, still a ton of time for them to improve, and a meta shakeup could help them a lot. But for now, it just seems like FlyQuest is in a bit of a rut, but they've also played the top teams in the league. C9 seems to be trending towards that direction. Take that how you will. But it would be good to see FlyQuest get a win here. It really would. I think it would go a long way to getting them back on the path to being solidly in that conversation to secure the 3rd seed at Worlds. But again, I will note something that the LCS report did a great job of communicating to their audience. The expectation for FlyQuest this year was just to show promise. If they can make Worlds, that's a massive benefit. This is a mostly rookie squad. It's a young group. The expectation was just to show glimpses. They're right where they need to be. Can they get to Worlds? Sure. And I'm placing a lot of undue expectation and hoping that they get to that point. But I just think it would be exciting. That's all. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode of The Pit. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe down below. I'll see you tomorrow for the co-stream of the LCS. First up, Team Liquid, DSG. Can we break a world record? Best of 3? Maybe. We'll see.